rumors are swirling around in the Charm City about offensive coordinator Todd Monken and the fact that he might leave Baltimore by season's end. He's been talked about a possible head coaching candidate for many teams across the NFL. So on today's show, we're going to talk about the chances that Todd Monken might be out soon. And on the back half, I'm going to tell you a little bit more of why I think he might stay. I promise you it's going to be a good one. You're going to want to stick around to it. Happy Tuesday, everybody. Hope you guys are enjoying your day. Actually, it's Wednesday. You can see it's a little cold here in Dallas, Texas. Bundled up in my hoodie, 58 degrees. I guess you could say that's cold for Dallas. I'll take it. I got a challenge for each of you guys, or I guess a request. If you're subscribed to this channel, thanks so much for being subscribed. 23,172 of you guys. But if you're not in the Noti gang, what are you doing? Only 12.9% of subscribers are in our Noti gang. That's only 3,000 of you guys. If you want to go and be a part of this, you got to click the notifications button. Click that little bell, and you'll get notified every single time we drop a video. And join the 12.9%. Let's try to bump that up to like at least 14% by the end of today. So is Monken on the move? That's the big question going on in today's episode because he has been revealed over the past couple of weeks as a candidate for multiple probable head coaching vacancies. Again, there haven't been many so far this year, but there's a lot of teams that you got to think at the end of the year they'll be moving on from the guys they got in the building. Starting with the Saints. There are guys who have already moved on, okay? Darren Rizzi has been the interim head coach. He's done a pretty good job. I don't think good enough to secure that head coaching position for 2025. So here are the odds right now for the Saints' next head coach. Joe Brady sitting at the top of the list, plus 300. Ben Johnson, number 2. He's going to be a common name at plus 400. Then number 3, the third most likely candidate, Todd Monken at plus 600. Then you got Aaron Glenn, Wes Phillips to round out the top 5. Let's look at the Giants, okay? Brian Daboll still has a job as of right now, but many people are expecting that not to be the case at the end of the season. Todd Monken actually, as it sits right now, is the highest favorite for that Giants head coaching position at plus 500, tied with Ben Johnson. It's saying about a 16.7% chance. Then Bobby Slowick with the Houston Texans offensive coordinator, Joe Brady offensive coordinator over there in Buffalo, Bill Belichick, obviously not coaching right now, former legendary coach with the New England Patriots. He's sitting at plus 800. And then the Jets head coach. We've already kind of talked about his opportunities with the Jets right after Robert Saleh was fired. His odds have gone down a little bit since then. He's kind of far from all the favorites. Ben Johnson at top plus 500. Bobby Slowick at plus 650. And then Mike Vrabel, Jeff Ulbrich also at plus 500 as well. Todd Monken sitting at plus 1,400. Not the greatest chance to land that job, but still, he's listed. And he's listed for a bunch of other places as well. So I got to ask you a question before we take a little bit deeper dive into all of this. Where will Monken coach next year? I'm going to leave it open-ended, okay? Is it going to be Baltimore, New York, New Orleans, maybe the other New York team? You guys let me know in the comment section down below. This is today's pinned comment. YouTube might throw you an ad break here in just a couple of seconds. When that happens, take advantage of that time. Scroll down to the pinned comment, find it, and reply for me. Let's take a little bit of a deeper dive into Monken's resume, okay? He's 58 years old. He began his coaching career in 1989. At that point, I was, negative 11 at Grand Valley State. He's had the majority of experience in the NCAA, but has spent time with the Jags, the Bucks, the Browns, of course, also the Ravens. This is his 10th year in the NFL. He has head coaching experience, but it was short-lived and it wasn't really high stakes. He was the head coach of Southern Miss, the Golden Eagles, is that right, Cullen? I believe they're the Golden Eagles from 2013 to 2015, okay? So he's had a lot of coaching experience, 10 years with the NFL, but only one stint as a head coach. And it was with a really small collegiate program. It was only for a couple of years, and his head coaching record was 13-26, right? So nothing that really jumps off the page at you. But what does jump off at the page at you is what he's been doing this year as the offensive coordinator for the Baltimore Ravens, okay? Here's his case of why he might deserve to be a head coach in the year of 2025. 29.5 points per game, that's third in the NFL. 243.4 yards per game passing the football, that's third. And 179.1 yards per game rushing the football, that's first in the NFL, okay? So people are seeing what this offense is doing with Lamar Jackson, with Derrick Henry, Zay Flowers. And sure, they got a lot of pieces, but you got to have somebody moving those pieces, and that's Mr. Todd Monken. And then also, if you just look at the last 5 years, kind of his coaching resume, he's improved pretty much every single year, right? 2019 had 20.9 points per game with the Cleveland Browns, and then went to Georgia, inherited them. They put up 32.3, 38th. Then they took a massive jump in year 2, 38.6, and an even bigger jump in year 3 with 41.1. Of course, they won national championships both of those years. Right now, Baltimore is sitting to take a step up even from 2023, where they're 4th in the NFL in points per game with 28.4. But I think the biggest thing about Monken is what he's been able to do with quarterback Lamar Jackson, because that's going to be the biggest thing. They're going to want a head coach to come in there and, hey, what can you do for our quarterback? Especially if it's a team like New York and possibly even New Orleans who are looking for that next quarterback. Well, from the year 2022, the year right before Todd Monken got in the building when Greg Roman was there, to the year 2023, he improved in every single one of these categories and had career highs in 3 of them when it comes to completion percentage, yards per game, yards per attempt. His passer rating went up by 11. His QBR went up by 4. His yards per attempt, this is the most impressive jump in my opinion, 1.1 yards more. His yard per game went up 40 per game, okay? So coming up, we've got more on Lamar Jackson, more on Todd Monken, and just kind of more on Monken's possibilities and what might happen with him and why I think he might be staying in Baltimore. But before we get into any of that, I got to give a massive shout out to the sponsor of today's video, and that is our friends over at Game Time. If you want to catch a Ravens game anytime soon, and if you want to do it in the cheapest way possible, I promise you, you're going to want to use Game Time. It's the only place I go when I'm trying to get tickets to any college football or NFL games. It has a new feature. It's called Game Time Picks, and that makes getting tickets to see your favorite teams live play even easier. Game Time Picks filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats, so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. The tool highlights the best deals, including great and amazing deals with the highest value seats at the time. For some events, Game Time Picks also identifies a super deal, which is the best seat value in the venue. And guys, there's so many things I love about Game Time, right? I love the lowest price guarantee. I love the last minute tickets and flash deals, but I just love more than anything the views from your seats. And you get it right when you click into the ticket. You find the event you want to go to, you click the ticket you want, and then bang, boom, bam, you're looking exactly at what you'll be looking at when you're sitting at your seat before you even purchase your ticket. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and redeem code CHATSPORTS for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code CHATSPORTS for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? It's game time. So Todd Monken was asked about the possibility of becoming a head coach in 2025 on Tuesday's press conference, and this is what he had to say. Short and sweet. He said, I don't deal with it. I don't deal with it because it doesn't have to do with anything in the here and in the now. I'm focused on scoring points, and I'm focused on winning games. Guys, and honestly, I wouldn't expect him to say anything different, okay? Like, it's probably the same exact things he said last year when he was asked about the head coaching vacancies and the possible interviews and the interviews he did take. And it's the same things he's going to say this year. And if he comes back this next year and he's looked at as a head coaching possibility next year, I promise you, he's going to say the same thing. Because, like, what else is he going to say? Yeah, it's actually taking up the majority of my brain power. It's taking up the majority of my time. I actually spend all my time thinking about it. Thanks so much for asking that question. No, of course he's going to say I'm focused on the here and now. Focus on scoring points. Focus on winning games. That's what he should say. But we had this same conversation last year, okay? And he did go on 2 interviews, or excuse me, he was linked with 2 interviews. With the Chargers, which he actually interviewed for, then the Panthers, they requested to interview him. He didn't end up interviewing, and honestly, I don't blame him. That place it's just kind of a massive dumpster fire, and he ended up making a really good call not going to the Panthers. But to me, I think that his age is a big deterrent as a first-time head coach, okay? I think the fact that you got somebody who's 58 years old and who's never been a head coach before in the NFL, and this is going to be his first time, almost at the age of 60, I just don't think that really bodes well for him, and I don't think that's anything an NFL franchise is looking to do, because if you look back to 2023 and the 2024 new head coaches, it was Jim Harbaugh. He's 60 years old, 2 years older than Todd Monken, but he's been a head coach in the NFL before. Jerod Mayo, 38. Brian Callahan, 40. Antonio Pierce, 45. All those guys, 13 years or younger than our guy in Todd Monken. Dave Canales, 43. Raheem Morris, 48. Mike McDonald, 37. 21 years younger. Then you had Dan Quinn, who's 54 years old, but again, not his first time being an NFL head coach. So because of that, and because I just think as an NFL, like as the NFL goes on and gets new head coaches, I just think they're going to automatically just go younger. It just makes more sense, in my opinion, to just go younger, especially when talking about a guy who's never been a head coach before, okay? If he'd been a head coach in the past, like a Dan Quinn or like a Jim Harbaugh, then yeah, I would think it's a legitimate opportunity. But I just don't think that an NFL team is going to take a gamble on a guy who's almost 60 years old and has never been a head coach before in his life in the NFL. That's just my opinion. But I want to hear yours. Will Todd Monken be a Baltimore Raven in 2025, or do you think he's going to be a New York Jet, a New York Giants, a New Orleans Saint? You let me know in the comment section down below by giving me a Y or an N. Thanks so much for tuning in, everybody. Really appreciate you guys being here. If you haven't already, make sure to hit that sub button. Join the 23,172 people we already got rocking with us right here on Ravens Rundown. If you haven't already, click that bell notification. Join the Noti gang. Let's get that percentage up.